The movies have always been a mix of artistry and business sense. While Adolf Zukor, Carl Laemmle, Jesse Lasky, William Fox, and Samuel Goldwyn were building entertainment empires, D.W. Griffith was establishing himself as the industry's creative leader. With the 50th anniversary of the end of the Civil War approaching in 1915, movies about the bloody battles between North and South were increasing. Griffith began developing plans for the most ambitious and innovative of them all, The Birth of a Nation, based on The Klansman, a novel and play by ardent Southerner Thomas Dixon, Jr.
Griffith was clearly a man with a big future. I look back now and I realize that although this seemed like a golden opportunity, it was also a recipe for disaster. Because anyone who put up front money for this picture without really knowing how an audience would take to it, would they line up? Would they buy reserved seats? Would they pay in advance? Would they sit still for 2 hours? It was a big question mark. Birth of a Nation, a big question mark.
I don't think there's anything you can say today to give people a sense of what a lightning bolt, The Birth of a Nation, was for audiences at the time. It took the country by storm. I mean, there were people lined up for months to see the film, and it was playing in major theaters at a $2 top admission, this when most movie theaters had a 25-cent top admission.
Griffith boasted about his concern for historical accuracy, but not every American cheered as the Ku Klux Klan rode to the rescue in the film's stirring climax.
D.W. Griffith was from Kentucky, and so you have the viewpoint of people who had come out of the defeated South, who had heard stories of the old South and of its grandeur, and its power, and its beauty. And so Griffith felt that he was really presenting history.
The Birth of a Nation was less history and more a distorted lament for a lost cause.
The NAACP was formed in 1909. This organization now was really going to fight for the rights of African Americans, and it was going to speak out against injustices and inequities. White liberals were disturbed and spoke out about this film. Jane Addams, the great social reformer at Hull House in Chicago, spoke out and wrote about this film. Rabbi Stephen Wise spoke out against the film.
There were violent confrontations in Boston and calls to censor the film in cities such as Pittsburgh and Chicago, protesting the glorification of the Klan and degrading images of African Americans.
I mean, these images are absolutely shocking, but they fit into this story and the case that D.W. Griffith was building, that these black men had to be controlled. They had to be put back into their place. All they could bring would be disorder and chaos.
At the time, most white Americans, including Griffith, remained blind or supportive of the racist imagery, even at the highest levels of American society.
Thomas Dixon knew exactly how to promote this film. He persuaded Woodrow Wilson to screen the film at the White House. So here suddenly we have the first time a motion picture being shown at the White House for the President of the United States.
Wilson was very excited about it. Other members of his staff who saw it there in the White House were excited by this film, and Wilson said it's like writing history with lightning.
Dixon then approached the U.S. Supreme Court. He knew that the head of the Supreme Court had been a member of the Klan.
Dixon proudly reported the Chief Justice's admiration for Griffith's visually innovative representation of the war. But The Birth of a Nation was a success even without such claims of high-level support. When it toured the country, the movie traveled with a full orchestra, playing an original score, with a team of sound effects specialists to enhance the battle scenes. It was a movie phenomenon unlike anything seen before.
The fact that it was such a commercial success. Many people felt that it really led to the creation of Hollywood itself, because Hollywood was not really Hollywood at that point. I think that in looking at Birth of a Nation today, we have to see its importance in the history of American movies, and also Griffith's position as this major American filmmaker who took movies in a new direction technically, and in the art of telling a story and telling it for a large audience. It's a masterpiece, but a racist masterpiece.